Since video games have existed, players have always tried to achieve the highest score in their favorite games. However, as the evolution of video games continued, many of these games didn't have a scoring system, but rather focused on a more expansive environment filled with an adventure for the player. While these games continued to become increasingly popular, gamers still wanted to prove themselves, that they were the best at their favorite series, and they'd play these games start to finish as fast as possible to prove once and for all that they were superior. Many of these competitors completely crushed the competition in every category of their game of choice. And today, I wanted to highlight some of these players' accomplishments as they continue to dominate in their game of choice. Let's start with someone you might know, Suigi, who is responsible for holding the world record in Super Mario Any Percent or 0 star, 1 star, 16 star, 70 star, and the 100% 120 star. Suigi started running Super Mario 64 about 4 years ago, and after pushing his 16 star far enough to get the world record, he took his talents to the shorter categories, such as 0 star and 1 star. These break the game down to its shortest possibility to be beaten, bringing in many small optimizations during the run. After this, Suigi would spend over a year getting the records in the most contested categories, 70 and 120 star, where runs would easily take over 45 minutes for 70 and over an hour and a half for 120. It would be a lot more heartbreaking resetting an hour into a run rather than the short speed runs he was used to, but against all odds, he was able to earn both world records, and at this point, he had attained every world record for Super Mario 64, something that had never been done before, proving that he is the king of Super Mario 64. But while Suigi may be the king of Super Mario 64, there is a different man who reigns supreme of the original. Niftski started running the original Mario back in 2020, and while his initial skill was very obvious, he had a long way before he became a record holder. But he would not simply be a record holder. Niftski has held the record for all categories of Super Mario Bros., such as Glitchless, Warpless, Any Percent All-Stars, Warpless All-Stars, and Minus World Ending. And for this game, every category is kind of a highly contested category, but none of them are as challenging as the Any Percent, which 1 month ago, Niftski was able to scrape off about 1/3 of a second from his old record, and earn himself the crown as champion of Super Mario Bros. Taking a break from Mario, let's talk about a game that's rather reckless. The Simpsons Hit and Run. While this scene has always had a top dog, standing at its pinnacle, the current title belongs to Homerofsteel. He had started speedrunning this game about 3 years ago, back in 2022, and to this day continues to smash his own records in all 6 categories, the main being all story missions, where he has almost a minute over the runner-up, but he also has the record for Any Percent, 100%, all story missions New Game Plus, no mission warps, and all tasks no level returns. On top of this, Homerofsteel has gone above and beyond, proving his worth by also achieving the world record in all 30 category extensions for the game, and a lot of level runs. Homerofsteel has proven he definitely is one of the most dominant players in the speedrunning scene. And on that note, back to Mario, as our next leader is known for their Super Mario Galaxy 2 gameplay. Jhay began speedrunning Galaxy 2 in 2021 and continued to consistently lower his time. And on May 20th, 2022, he had his first world record in the 242 star category, taking a little under 9 hours to complete. And that's doing it as fast as possible. But in that same year, Jhay would expand his reach to 120 star. And then all green stars. And finally, at the end of the year, Any Percent, the most sought after title for this game. Since then, Jhay has continued to push his Any Percent time down, while his other records have stood for 2 years, and probably because he just doesn't need to worry about it. His closest competition for many of these records are minutes away from his success. Nobody's really on his level. He even went and got some of the records from Galaxy 1, which is why he is such a beast when it comes to speedrunning. Dark Smoke 11 posted their first speedrun almost 8 years ago, and in this time has completed 1,450 game runs, all dedicated to a single game series. Borderlands. Now I get it, Borderlands is one of my favorite games, but because of the unique characters in the Borderlands series, every category you would normally see, such as any percent or all quest, is then multiplied by the amount of characters available to that category. Meaning, the guy plays a lot of Borderlands. For Borderlands 2, the only record they're missing is dedicated to co-op, which I will not fault them for. That's 25 world records in Borderlands 2. Moving on, they have every category extension for the game, minus the co-op as well, bringing in another 12 records. And they also have every world record for Borderlands the pre-sequel. And this time, that includes the co-op, which is about another 9 records. Not a single upload from this runner is below top 3. Where they even have some world records in the original Borderlands, as well as Borderlands 3. While other runners try to keep up, it will certainly be hard to put a stain on Dark Smoke's legacy. Since about 4 years ago, Player 5 has been speedrunning Zelda Breath of the Wild, and had almost immediately been experiencing success, obtaining his first world record in March of 2021. And anyone who has played this game knows just how massive and daunting it is. However, the runner has since taken the game for a ride, as very recently, he just lowered the any percent down to a 23 minutes and 1 second, a very impressive feat. But before this, Player 5 had, and still currently has, earned himself the world record for the all dungeons, all main quests, all shrines, and the 100% category, a run that took him over 14 hours to complete. He's even earned himself some category extension records, and has dabbled with the sequel, Tears of the Kingdom. However, despite its release 2 years ago, it appears Player 5 has no intention of abandoning their efforts in Breath of the Wild. These are what I consider the most dominant faces in the speedrunning scene. And while there are definitely some strong contenders, such as Shift, a speedrunner who has had a strong hold on the 100% and any percent categories for Battle for Bikini Bottom, Relieved Liberty, who has 4 of the 5 category records in Super Mario 64 DS, as well as a couple of Roblox speedruns, Summoning Salt, who is behind in only 2 categories in the Punch-Out scene, most likely due to his grinding and accomplishment of the Mike Tyson record, Verdict, who has a variety of records in Flash games and Mario ROM hacks, and Tyrant18, who has held many of the Super Mario Odyssey world records and still contends for the any percent categories. However, these other ones were the ones that I deemed the best, as they had every record in every category for a specific game, or more, showing complete domination. If this is something you enjoyed, please subscribe, and take care.